Hey guys, this is Ryan. If you missed today, Monday, October 24th or day 34, this is what we did. The goal of today was to research our issue that we chose last class period. And the language objective is to be able to summarize and synthesize a lot of information into um, what you really need to understand your issue. So here's what we did. The first thing we did as a warm up was we did a kind of an adapted KWL. We started by doing the K and the W column. What do you know? I think you know about your issue, and what do you want to know? So I'd start by doing that. We're going to get to the L and the S later on. The next step after the KWL is we try to generate our own questions. Levi and I can't assign you questions because everyone has a different issue. So basically, the point is that we need to generate our own questions. I used this graphic organizer, which I thought was really helpful. It gives us some good sentence stems, or like question stems, if you want to say. How deep and thoughtful questions might begin: which, how, what if, should, and why. I think the coolest part of this graphic organizer is actually the back. It's kind of like a table. You're going to have to kind of turn your head to see this, but it's a table. This will make a lot more sense if you get it on paper. But it's kind of a table using a question stem on this vertical axis right here. So who, what, when, where, why, how, which, and then some common words that might follow the question word. So for example, we see a few here: is, did, can, would. So for example, if I'm investigating the high school dropout rate, I might ask, what is the most common age that a student drops out? Or how many students drop out of high school every year in the United States? You might also ask a question: when is the most common point in a student's career that they drop out? Or which is the most common reason for dropout? So you can see how you can use this graphic organizer to help you out during class. We were shooting for 6 or more questions, and the way we're going to use these questions is when we research, which is the next step. We're going to use these essential questions as our foundation for our research, so we're not kind of aimlessly researching. So once you have your 6 questions, move on. The next step is to go to the Denver Public Library homepage. There's a link right here, and we're going to use a database. So you want to get to the main website, just the Denver Public Library homepage, and you want to click this research tab right here. And this will take you to all the databases that the library subscribes to. We're going to go click on this, databases A through Z. And the database we're looking for starts with an S, so you'll want to click there and scroll all the way down. It's the very last one, and it's called Student Resources in Context. We're using this because it's a little more dialed in. Cuts out all the junk that's on the internet and gives you only really high quality resources. So it logged me in right away because I've already logged in. But when you get to this screen, it will ask you to log in. And what you want to do is you want to use this login. We created this for you. So you'll want to use your username as RiseUp. It's case sensitive, so you want to make sure the R and the U are capitals. And the password is just going to be password lowercase. So once you enter those, then your screen will look like mine. And then it operates very similar to a search bar, Google search bar. So you can scroll down and see these different categories that they have, kind of common categories. I would suggest doing a simple search in the bar, or maybe even the advanced search. So let's start with a simple search. So you want to get as specific as you possibly can. So for example, if my question is about immigration, I can type immigration and it will pop up with probably hundreds, look at this guys, thousands of different hits. So if I'm looking at this, my search probably is not very specific. I'm seeing, I'm going to have I'm going to have immigration. I mean, there's 300 years of history to this, so I want to get a little more specific. So what I might want to search for is if I want to focus specifically on a certain type of immigration or element of immigration, I want to include that in my search. So maybe I'll search for border security. You can see if you stop typing, it gives you really good suggestions. So I was actually thinking about this, border security and immigration, and I could search that. If I really want to focus on the border control, and you guys can see I will go from thousands of hits down to about 70 hits right here. Another thing is if you're really not sure what to search, you could start with your main word and then see what comes up from there. And this is a really helpful way. You can use any of these resources, and the goal is to answer at least 3 of your essential questions. Like we say up here, the purpose of this is to investigate your topic and become an expert on it. So you know everything you need to know about your topic, and you can speak articulately to your topic, and obviously create an ad that takes into account all of the details, all of the nuances of your topic. So that's going to be the research step. That's probably the biggest step on this page. While you research, you'll be doing 2 things. The first thing you could do is these dot and jot notes. I like these because they're focused specifically on one question. So it has a few guides along the top, but basically you use one of these sheets per question you're investigating. So your question would go here. Excuse me. Then down below is all of your sources. Then down below is all of your source information. Don't get too hung up on these. It's the main thing is just you want to be able to get to your source if you need to go back and find it. And then here is just some space for you to jot down some main points from the research. If this works for you, great, use it. If it doesn't, you can take notes however you want. The goal is to just capture the important information we really need. And then last but not least, what we want to do is we want to be able to put all this information into context. So if you want to watch this video, you can. It's a brief 2.5 minute video describing what context is. But basically, these questions kind of guide you through understanding what you need to know about your issue. So number 1 is the main causes. Number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 are about pro and con stance. Pro and con isn't the perfect way to describe it, but basically there's going to be 2 sides of your issue. Identify both sides and then identify, well, what are the main arguments for each side? Last but not least, number 6 is what is the context of your issue? So what else is going on in the world that affects your issue is basically what I want to know. Then last but not least is your reflection. So it's basically your personal, based on your research, what is your personal stance on the issue? All right. We're almost there, guys. The very final thing to wrap up with number 2, step 2, is to go back to your KWL graphic organizer, KWLS, and to complete these last 2 columns. So what did you learn in your research? This hopefully is going to be really full. And then the S is kind of an adaptation on the KWL. It's outstanding questions that you have unanswered that you still want to know more about. So this is step 2. We started this on Monday, and I think we're going to continue it on Tuesday. Obviously, you need this done to move on to step 3. So let Levi or I know if you have any questions.